Alara Kingsley had everything the world admired: corner office, glass walls, a company worth billions, and a name whispered with respect in every boardroom across London. Yet, every night, when the city dimmed and the noise finally faded, she lost control. Because she dreamed of her. The woman had no name. No past Alara could remember. Only a presence, calm, magnetic, devastating. Dark eyes that held questions Alara didn't know how to answer. A smile that appeared just before Alara woke, heart racing, sheets tangled, breath uneven. It had started 3 months ago. The same dream again and again. In it, they always stood close, too close. Fingers brushing. Breaths mingling. Once, the woman leaned in and pressed a slow, deliberate kiss against Alara's lips. Not rushed. Not desperate. Just certain. Alara woke that morning with her lips tingling, her chest aching with a longing she couldn't shake. She tried to ignore it. CEOs didn't obsess over dreams. Powerful women didn't unravel over imaginary lovers. But then, on a rain-soaked Monday morning, her assistant knocked and said, "Your new strategy analyst is here." First day. Alara didn't look up. "Send her in." The door opened. Time stopped. The woman from her dream stood there, real, solid, breathing. Same eyes. Same quiet confidence. Even the faint scar near her eyebrow Alara had traced with her gaze 100 times in sleep. "Good morning," the woman said softly. "I'm Arya Vale." Alara's pulse thundered. Her throat went dry. This wasn't possible. Arya smiled, that smile, and something unspoken passed between them, sharp and intimate, like a secret neither had confessed yet. Alara stood slowly, forcing composure she no longer felt. "Welcome to Kingsley Corp," she said, her voice steady despite the storm inside her. As Arya stepped closer, their hands brushed, accidentally, officially. But Alara knew. This woman hadn't just walked into her office. She had stepped out of her dreams. And nothing in Alara's perfectly controlled world would ever be the same again. For the rest of the day, Alara barely heard a word anyone said. Arya sat across the conference table, posture relaxed, fingers lightly folded, contributing insights that were sharp, original, brilliant. Every time she spoke, Alara felt the same strange pull she felt in her dreams, like gravity bending quietly in Arya's direction. And Arya kept glancing at her. Not boldly. Not obviously. Just enough for Alara to notice. Just enough to make her wonder if this impossibility was one-sided. After the meeting, Alara dismissed everyone else. "Ms. Vale," she said, carefully neutral. "A word." Arya lingered as the room emptied. When the door clicked shut, silence stretched between them, thick, intimate, electric. "You seem distracted," Arya said gently. Alara laughed once, breathless. "You have no idea." Their eyes met. Something flickered there, recognition. Curiosity. Maybe the same confusion twisting in Alara's chest. "This may sound strange," Alara began, then stopped. CEOs negotiated billion-pound deals without blinking. Yet this felt more dangerous than any boardroom battle. "Have we met before?" Arya's lips parted slightly. "I was going to ask you the same thing." She took a step closer. The scent of her, clean, warm, faintly floral, hit Alara like memory. Not imagined. Remembered. "I dream of you," Alara said suddenly, the words tumbling out before she could stop them. Arya froze. Then, slowly, she smiled, not playful now, but soft. Almost relieved. So do I. The air shifted. Neither moved, yet the space between them vanished. Alara reached out without thinking, her fingers brushing Arya's wrist. Arya didn't pull away. Instead, she turned her hand, lacing their fingers together as if it were the most natural thing in the world. I don't understand it, Arya whispered. But every time I wake up, I feel like I've lost something. I dream of you, Alara said suddenly, the words tumbling out before she could stop them. Arya froze. Then, slowly, she smiled, not playful now, but soft. Almost relieved. So do I. The air shifted. Neither moved, yet the space between them vanished. Alara reached out without thinking, her fingers brushing Arya's wrist. Arya didn't pull away. Instead, she turned her hand, lacing their fingers together as if it were the most natural thing in the world. I don't understand it, Arya whispered. But every time I wake up, I feel like I've lost something. Alara's throat tightened. I feel like I've found it. Alara avoided Arya for 3 days. Not intentionally, at least that's what she told herself. Meetings ran long. Calls overlapped. Emails replaced conversations that should have been face-to-face. She was a CEO, distance was her armor. But every time Arya entered a room, Alara felt it, that quiet pull, steady and insistent. And every time their eyes met, something unspoken passed between them, warm and dangerous. On the 4th evening, London draped in amber streetlight and rain, Alara found Arya still at her desk long after everyone else had left. You should go home, Alara said, pausing in the doorway. Arya looked up. So should you. A beat. Then a smile, small, knowing. Alara exhaled. Walk with me. They ended up on the balcony outside Alara's office, the city breathing beneath them. Wind lifted Arya's hair, and without thinking, Alara reached out, tucking a strand behind her ear. The gesture lingered, intimate, unguarded. This is a bad idea, Alara murmured. Arya didn't move away. You don't sound convinced. I'm your CEO. And I'm the woman you dream about. Alara laughed softly, helplessly. You say that like it explains everything. Arya stepped closer, voice low. Maybe it does. Their closeness erased the city, the company, the rules. Alara's hand rested at Arya's waist, tentative, as if asking permission. Arya answered by leaning in, her forehead brushing Alara's. Their kiss this time was deeper, still gentle, but certain. Arya's lips moved slowly, unhurried, as though she wanted Alara to feel every second. Alara responded, heart open now, fingers tightening slightly at Arya's waist. When they finally pulled apart, breathless, Arya smiled. Still think it's just a dream? Alara shook her head. No. Dreams don't feel this real. They stood there a moment longer, holding on to each other as if letting go might undo everything. Tomorrow, reality would demand answers. But tonight, they chose the truth their bodies already knew. The next morning brought consequences. Alara sat at the head of the executive table, composed as ever, her voice calm, her posture flawless. No one could see the way her pulse reacted every time Arya entered the room, or how her mind replayed the warmth of that balcony kiss like a secret she carried beneath silk and steel. Arya, for her part, was professional, almost too much so. She spoke only when asked, kept her distance, never once letting her fingers brush Alara's again. It should have been a relief. It wasn't. That evening, Alara found a message waiting on her phone. Arya, we need to talk. Not as CEO and employee. As whatever this is. Alara didn't hesitate. They met at a quiet cafe tucked away from the corporate district, lights low, music soft. Arya was already there, fingers curled around a mug she hadn't touched. "This can't be reckless," Arya said before Alara could speak. "I won't be your secret. And I won't be a mistake." Alara's chest tightened. "You're neither." She reached across the table, slow, giving Arya time to pull away. She didn't. Their hands met, fitting together with frightening ease. "I'd built my life on control," Alara admitted. "But you make me want to surrender it. Just a little." Arya's gaze softened. "Then let's do this right." Later, outside beneath the glow of street lamps, Alara walked Arya home. At the door, hesitation lingered, sweet, aching, deliberate. Arya leaned in first this time. Their kiss was unhurried, intimate, full of restraint that somehow made it more intense. Arya's hands rested at Alara's waist, Alara's thumb traced the line of Arya's jaw, memorizing her. When they parted, foreheads touching, Arya whispered, "Good night, Alara." Alara smiled. "Sweet dreams." As she walked away, Alara knew one thing with absolute certainty. This wasn't a fantasy anymore. It was something far more dangerous. It was real. For the first time in years, Alara looked forward to mornings. Not because of the company's rising stock or a pending acquisition, but because Arya would be there, seated a few steps away, glancing up when Alara entered as if the room had shifted into focus. They were careful. Almost painfully so. Professional during the day. Polite smiles. Conversations that stayed just on the safe side of personal. Yet beneath it all ran a current, quiet, powerful, impossible to ignore. Late one evening, a sudden power outage shut down half the building. Emergency lights flickered on, casting the corridor in soft amber shadows. Alara found Arya by the window, London spread out behind her like a sea of stars. "Looks like we're trapped," Arya said lightly. Alara stepped closer. "Seems that way." The dimness erased the rules. The silence invited honesty. "I don't want this to fade," Arya said quietly. "Whatever this connection is. I feel it even when you're not near me." Alara swallowed. "So do I. It's like you live in the pauses between my thoughts." Arya turned to her then, eyes searching. "Alara, may I?" Alara nodded. Arya leaned in, pressing a slow kiss to Alara's lips, deeper than before, full of patience and intention. Alara responded instinctively, her hand sliding to Arya's back, pulling her closer. Their bodies aligned, warmth blooming between them, breaths mingling in the half-dark. This kiss wasn't about urgency. It was about belonging. When they finally parted, Arya rested her forehead against Alara's shoulder. "I've never felt this safe with anyone." Alara closed her eyes. "Neither have I." The lights flickered back on moments later, reality snapping into place. But nothing felt broken. As they stepped apart, hands lingering for just a second longer than necessary, Alara realized something profound. Love didn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes, it arrived softly. In dreams. In stolen moments. In the space between heartbeats. And once it did, it stayed. The illusion of peace didn't last. Whispers began first, quiet, insidious. Lingering glances during meetings. A pause when Alara and Arya entered the same room. Someone noticed the way Arya's eyes softened around her, the way Alara's voice changed, just slightly, when she said Arya's name. By Friday, the board requested a private meeting. Perception matters, one of them said carefully. Your closeness with an employee is being discussed. Alara listened, face unreadable, heart burning. For years she had played by every rule, sacrificed every personal want for this empire. And now, when she had finally found something real, it was being weighed like a liability. That night, she went to Arya's apartment unannounced. Arya opened the door, surprise giving way to concern the moment she saw Alara's expression. What happened? Alara didn't answer. She stepped inside, closed the door, and pulled Arya into her arms. I don't want to lose you, she whispered, voice breaking for the first time. Arya cupped Alara's face, steady and sure. Then don't. Their kiss was deeper now, fierce with emotion, tender with promise. Alara kissed her like she was choosing her, over and over again. Arya answered with equal devotion, hands threading into Alara's hair, grounding her. I won't hide, Arya said softly against her lips. But I won't make you choose alone. Alara rested her forehead against Arya's. I choose you. The words settled between them, solid, irreversible. On Monday morning, Alara announced Arya's transfer to a new division, one she would oversee independently. Transparent. Ethical. Unassailable. And later, when the office lights dimmed and the city hummed below, Alara and Arya stood hand in hand by the window, not as a secret, not as a dream. But as two women who had found each other. Against logic. Against fear. Against the world. The dream stopped. Not abruptly, just gently, like a door closing after someone has finally arrived. Alara noticed it one morning as she woke beside Arya, sunlight slipping through sheer curtains, Arya's breath warm against her shoulder. No longing. No ache. Only peace. They lay tangled together, not rushed, not hiding. Arya traced lazy patterns on Alara's arm, her touch familiar now in a way that felt earned. You don't dream of me anymore, Arya murmured, half smiling. Alara kissed her hair. I don't need to. Their relationship unfolded slowly after that, intentional, honest. Dinners that stretched into laughter-filled nights. Walks through the city where their hands brushed openly. Kisses exchanged without fear, soft or lingering depending on the moment. One evening, after a charity gala, Alara pulled Arya into a quiet hallway, away from the music and eyes. You look stunning, Alara whispered. Arya smiled. You always say that. Because it's always true. Alara kissed her then, unhurried, reverent. Arya's hand slid to Alara's waist, pulling her closer, the kiss deepening with familiarity and trust. It wasn't about hunger anymore. It was about home. Later, curled together beneath warm sheets, Arya rested her head on Alara's chest. Do you ever think about how strange it was? That I came to you in dreams first? Alara smiled softly. Maybe some people meet twice. Once in the soul. Once in reality. Arya tilted her head up and kissed her, slow, loving, certain. Outside, London breathed and moved and rushed on. Inside, time slowed. Alara realized then that the mysterious woman from her dreams hadn't come to haunt her. She had come to stay.